Teresa better life.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Better Life with Teresa Bruce. Say hello in the comments. Tell me where you are watching from. I saw Candace's post. Did you guys see her post? Anyway, well, first, I missed you all yesterday too. And I was doing a project, and I need to actually just send a real quick text here to somebody actually to let them know I would be available at 5:30 today for an interview if possible. Just bear with me a second. Okay, thank you. Hey, Letters. Hello, Jeff. We haven't seen you in a while, Letters, so I was wondering how you are doing. Did you catch yesterday's stream of Candace's? I know you went to the library. Good morning, wherever you are. Yes, good morning, Jeff, in transit from San Diego to Wisconsin. Just catching the show. Huh? Awesome. Anyway, yesterday's show of Candace's was good. I mean, it was amazing. She dropped some new information. Apparently, Dan Flood has taken another position with TPUSA. He was allegedly, we have to say allegedly, about Candace's post. She got a letter. So we'll be hearing about that today. She got a letter from Turning Point USA. So we'll see what that's all about at 4:15 when she comes on. I'm going to click notify me here. Okay. For her show. So I want to keep track of the time. When I'm looking at my monitor, it doesn't give me the time. I need to buy a clock and put a clock up on the wall so that I can have that and not have to rely on my computer to do it because it doesn't show me the time. So hello, everybody. Welcome in. And it's good to see you here. Let me get back over to where I need to be to talk about this. So Dan Flood. Okay, we got her letter. Well, she got the letter, so we'll hear about that. Dan Flood took another position. I wonder if it was a promotion because Candace said that Charlie was looking at allegedly demoting him. I'm going to have to be really careful and make sure that I say allegedly because, if I get a letter, I want to be able to say that I said all the right things and said it was my opinion and allegedly and all of that stuff. So my thinking is about that. We've heard that Erika Kirk has been at the Pentagon. My guess is they're working on drafting some laws for social media to make some changes there. So I've been saying it. So keep a lookout for that. We'll see how that pans out. Anyway, so then TPUSA has done a bunch of firing. They fleshed out 30 to 40 what they believe to be possible traitors in the company who are leaking information to Candace and Baron and Ian and Allie and all the people who are covering this and investigating. So which I said, I'm going to always remind you guys the things that I say so that you can keep track. I love to say I'm right. I told you guys that before, but I do like to keep track also. And so that I know my intuition is good and spot on, or when it's getting a little bit off. So it's important to know either way. To me. Anyway, so the meeting that she took with Candace, I believe one of the main things is that they were wanting information from Candace. I know they didn't expect her to tell them who her sources were, but based on what she was saying, they could take away information and make judgments or inferences about who those people might be. And also, they wanted to take that meeting with Candace because they wanted to make everybody nervous about what Candace was going to say. And they wanted to see how people act when they get back from their meeting with Candace. So that's what I think was going on. So I'm not surprised that there was a lot of firings. Anybody that's a Candace fan, I'm sure they're on the chopping block for sure. I would say so. So let's see. What else has happened over the last couple days? So Candace said Andrew and Erika, there's some discrepancy between their two stories because Andrew says that when he flew into Utah, he immediately got off the plane and ran to Erika. Supposedly, if Erika was on the plane that Candace is thinking she was, then there's a timeline issue as to why would Andrew say that, because he showed up. There was an hour time difference in their planes and when they arrived. And then why didn't he, use his wife as comfort? All of that. Anyways, it seems like they get their story off a little bit or quite a bit, quite often. So, I was looking into 501c3s because this whole TPUSA thing has really got me interested in just how 501c3s operate, where the money goes, especially with the is it Minnesota or Minneapolis with the daycares? I mean, they're all over now with the fraud, the Somali fraud, and in part they get grants from the government. But I was looking up information about 501c3s, and I think we need to take that law, that tax designation off the books. We are losing so much money. We are losing a lot of money. So the federal money that we lose every year, because they are tax exempt, they can have multiple 501c3s. One can catch money for doing one thing. For example, Turning Point USA can catch money for their 501c3. Now, TPUSA PAC, Turning Point PAC, they can't donate to funds for politics. So what will happen is that one of the 501c3s will give money over to the PAC, that 501c3. It's all washed. It's all tax-free, and they don't have to pay a single thing. So the estimate is roughly 70 to 90 billion a year, and that was fiscal year 2025. So to an average of 81 billion. So that's an average. So the annual money paid out to 501c3s and grants and endowments and all of that. And this is federal and state, because the federal will give states a certain amount of money and states take it and they decide who gets the money. There's not a lot of follow through and follow up when it comes to making sure that these companies are doing what they're supposed to. In the case of the daycares, like we saw, but the amount of money going to 501c3s and grants is 267 billion. That was in 2021. And then in the most recent years, 303 billion. Okay. So once they go out, it passes through so many people's hands that nobody knows who's doing what with what money. And so they're direct grants. They go through, that's a straight handoff. So a direct grant goes from the federal, state to whatever nonprofit. Also, the nonprofits can get contracts instead of grants. They can be awarded contracts. So they're getting paid as a service, as a business, but they don't have to pay taxes on that money, and they don't have to keep keep tabs on it, the federal government. So those contracts are a big deal. So some of the things we do need, obviously, homeless shelters, disaster relief, when those are handled right, like FEMA, and we all know the waste and fraud, mental health services, educational services, the Somali daycares, HUD, USAID, all kinds of stuff that we're feeling like is too heavy with administration and federal involvement and tax and fraud and no accountability. So they outsource the contracts because it's safer to give it to another external company than it is for the federal government to do that on their own. Let's see, what else? Missions funding. So if they have a certain mission, they'll get funding to be able to have operating expenses to do whatever the mission they're claiming that they do. So so we never get to see it. And it's super sneaky, it's super shady, and there are so many of them in operation. So there's federal income tax, state income tax, and often a property tax are all deducted, are tax deductible, or no tax at all. That's what I mean, no tax at all. So we're losing money. When they get grants, we're paying that, and we don't always even get a say in which companies. So for instance, if you're a Democrat and your money's going to support Turning Point USA and Turning Point PAC, they're Republicans. So I'm sure you wouldn't want your money going to that. So I also don't think 501c3 should be able to, have one political stand over another. But they also, when the 501c3s that are governmental, have a lot of say over policy. They have a lot of say. So Erika's been, over in DC. So I wonder what kind of policies they're looking at doing. So they suck our money and they don't put in money, supposedly because they provide a service that we all need that others can't do, other for-profit companies can't do. I'm thinking we need to abolish the 501c3 designation. They need to be private, they need to be for-profit, they need to be donor-driven and publicly supported by, charitable, charity events, going through the public and asking the public for money. So anyways, and then they can get that money and they can pay taxes on it. They can report it. We'll know where it's going. And if it's publicly funded, then they answer to us directly. We get to know and see what they're doing. And if we don't like that charity and we don't support that charity, the markets will decide. The markets will decide if they succeed or if they go down. That's how it should be. So a lot of them use the shell company. I know Turning Point USA doesn't like to, have the term used, shell, because it has a negative connotation, because it's negative, because it's fraudulent, because it's dishonest, because it's greedy. But the shell companies move all that money around. So where the PAC can't give money, PAC can give money to Turning Point USA, and then Turning Point USA can turn around and give it to whatever, candidate that they want to support for any of the seats that they choose. So anyways, we're losing money federally and in states too. And states especially, are pretty tight in what they can monitor and what they can follow up on and make sure that everybody's on the up and up. So I don't think that should be their job. I think that should be in the hands of the public. The market's smart. We'll decide what we like and what we don't like, what we want, what we don't want. So anyways, they shape policy outcomes. They influence culture. They deliver services, supposedly. They employ massive workforces. And, those people who are getting paid by the nonprofits, they have to pay tax. So what about that? So there's no transparency. And if there's no transparency, then we have no business funding them, the government or me. That's what I want to say. So that is mine. I'm going to flip over to your comments here and see what you have to say about all that. I had a mouthful, didn't I? So it's been cold. It's cold here. We're in Wisconsin, and so it's been pretty mild winter since we moved here. But this year we moved here in 2022. And the weather, we've had pretty mild winters, but this winter has been most like it was when we first moved here. So pretty cold. We were in the negatives yesterday. So we've got fires burning a lot of the days to help heat the house and have that nice warm heat down to your bones. So letter says nonprofits and non-governmental organizations have been doing this globally for decades. The homeless industrial complex is a huge one. Yeah, they have been, which makes sense of why the federal government needs more and more money for us, and why we're having to pay more and more in inflation, because the system, we're the slaves to the system. We're the ones paying, and those people have mansions. They have mansions and fancy cars and fancy clothes, designer clothes. They're going on all these vacations. That's not right. That's not right. While we sit and pay for it. So anyways, that really has me going, and has had my brain pretty busy here. Let's see. Along with mental health services, just look up the loonies in an asylum. I'm not going to an asylum. Loonies. Well, look at that. We've got the loon. I love it. Cisco, hi. This is pizza and board games. Well, they have pizza if who is it? What is that guy's name? The one with the pizza tattoo in his lip. Well, ask Hillary Clinton about pizza. And gosh, the name of that guy that Erika had dated. What is his name? It just is escaping me. Do you think Erika and Andrew have a thing going? So when I saw Erika on the show, on the Charlie Kirk show, the first time after Charlie Kirk died, she was looking pretty sweet at Andrew. I mean, she puts on that look whenever she feels like it, whenever the camera's on her. But there was a few looks and body language that, Cabot Phillips. Yes, thank you, Cisco. Cabot Phillips is the one with pizza. So we could ask Cabot where all that pizza is. He's got it in his mouth. Pizza boy. Yeah. So now, okay, my little monkey brain. I need monkey pills so I can slow down my monkey brain. What were we talking about? Where were we going? We were going somewhere. We were going somewhere, and I lost track of where we were going. Good luck finding someone to play with who isn't drooling over themselves. Okay. Cabot Phillips. Andrew and Erika. Pizza and financial crimes. There we go. Well, and Adderall, I guess. Donald Trump. I was looking at something today that claims Donald Trump. Somebody who was on The Apprentice was saying that Donald Trump uses Adderall and speed a lot, which is why he's incontinent. I don't think the incontinence comes from that. I do think it comes from the injury that somebody did to him while they were being trafficked. So anyway, we're pro-truth. Yes, we are. So pizza and finance. Yeah, we're pro-truth. Oh, I miss Tatiana. People pro-Candace. Yeah. Pro-truth, I would say. Speaking of, and I want to say this about what we learned yesterday. So anyway, Candace she's given us this new information, right? about Andrew and Erika and this, and so she hasn't told us everything all at once. So on one hand, I can understand she may be trying to be understanding and not put everything out there in case it, like, everything isn't always something, right? But every tiny little lie she hasn't said to us. And so when she was telling us stuff yesterday, that there's that side of me that was like, wait a minute, why is she not giving us this information? Why are we just getting a little bit all at a time? So I can see her point in holding some things back. Also, the side of me who wants to know everything and is really listening and trusting in transparency in this investigation and support of that investigation. I don't like it. So I don't like the part that we're not getting all the information at the time that she does, but I do understand the possibility of why she's doing that. And I believe it's for good intentions. I don't believe it's ill-intended at all. I don't think she operates that way. But yeah, that part, that was one of the things that was on my mind. So anyways, Texas, hi Jets. Hello, is it warm over in Texas? Are you in the warm part? Candace is playing chess. Yeah, bye, Tatiana. See you. Enjoy your evening. Candace is playing a chess game. Yeah. So she's holding stuff back, and like she said too, she wants to see what they lie about. So she holds stuff back to see what they're going to say next and gives them enough rope to, take care of themselves. So I do understand that. So, but on the other side of just give me all of it all the time, that's the side of me that was like, wait a minute, I want to know this sooner. But I'm glad we know now, and I think that something's going on with Andrew and Erika. So back to what I was saying about her being on the show, the way she was looking at him. He said, so this is what crossed my mind, and what I saw is she said something about her and Charlie walked every morning, and there was a look on Andrew's face, almost of jealousy, like he was like, if here's the look I thought it was. So if you said something to purposely get under somebody's skin and make them jealous, right? Like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, like that, the look that person would give or have when they knew you were trying to say something to make them jealous or whatever. He was not liking that. He did not like that. And I know I saw that accurately. Oh, Texas is getting ready for sub-freezing Arctic weather. I saw a little bit about, I've been so busy. I've seen like headlines and I haven't been able to dive into exactly what they are. Yes. Do you have all your groceries and generator, and do you have wood heat? I love the wood heat. I'm chilly right now. So I think the fire's gone down a little bit. Let's see. There may be penguin sightings. Okay. Let's see. We are expecting cold front over the weekend, temps down to 20s or lower. Yeah, it got to negative, I think 3 yesterday, maybe it was, but it was in the negatives. It's at 16 degrees today, and it's snowing. It's dry. I've been like, my mouth super dry. I felt my skin super dry, and I'm thinking, what in the world? Do I have diabetes? Because I was so dry, and then I realized we've had wood heat going for the past weeks without any humidifier. So, and there's a lot of static electricity. So I'm thinking I got that out last night before bed, the humidifier, and put that on because I was like, oh, maybe I'm feeling sapped out like a cactus because we have the dry heat going on. Let's see. Letters. Getting cold in your country too. The Brits in the US have been doubling down on weather manipulation the last couple years. Yeah. Fully stocked, Cisco. Goodies. Ooh, what are your goodies? What kind of goodies do you have? Wrap the lemon tree in tarps tomorrow. Yum, fresh lemon from a tree, from a real tree in your backyard on your property. That's cool. Yes, much of the south and southeast is going to be cold, freezing in South Carolina. Oh, wow. Okay. Audrey, 2025 was a jobs disaster. Layoffs surged to the highest level in 4 years while job creation collapsed. 2.7 million new jobs were created in 2023, 2 million in 24. Yeah, so how do they keep saying the economy's great? And did you see what the stock market did? Ugh. So my husband was at a meeting, and apparently they were at some sort of conference, and they talked financials. And so he sent me a text and a chart, because he was talking about, they were saying the same things, that when they're pushing gold, it's not good news. And there's worse times on the horizon. So maybe, yeah. And Audrey, they've been laying off a lot of corporate people. And so what I was saying yesterday, in the corporate offices, when they start to delete positions there and restructure, then that ends up trickling down to the field where, the average other people, non-corporate positions are. So yeah, they have been doing that. Apparently the North Island is flooding, but I don't care about the North Island. That's where the government lives. Okay. So ICE has been saying, let me make sure we're on target. We just got a couple minutes. I can't play you my videos. Maybe I'll do it afterward. But yeah, they're saying that ICE, I saw a video, somebody was filming them, and they were upset because they were being blocked or whatever. And no. Somebody was heckling them basically. And then the ICE agent says, this is a child trafficker, or a predator or whatever. I don't believe them. I know there are some, obviously, but I think they've been told, and they're instructed, and what they're doing now is they are just going to lie, and they're going to tell people this is, they did this crime and they did another crime, just so that people will leave them alone and believe that it's all good. And I'm saying, no, I don't believe you. I think most of us are like, no, we don't believe you. You're going to have to show us proof. You don't have to have proof that they did it, but let's have proof that there's claims and complaints against them, right? If they're going to say this, then they need to, this is still, yeah, I don't believe a single word. And I think people are growing weary of all the lies and all the gaslighting, like Caroline Levitt coming out and saying Donald Trump didn't accidentally call Greenland Iceland. It's not a slip of the tongue, because Greenland has ice. Like, literally gaslighting right to our what in the world? They can't think we're that stupid, or they're that deluded that they believe everything they say. Are they just believing everything they say? They're delusional. They worship one another, and they feed one another's hype. They're hype friends. They're just so full of it. The government lies. I'd never have thought. Yeah. Well, and they're doing it en masse. It's just not one or two. Like, it's the entire, groups. Like, this whole, I've never seen anything like this. Well, I mean, the Kennedy, I'm sure they did that for the Kennedy assassination, where they all came, lied in groups. So this is on a mass scale. And I believe Turning Point is right in the middle of it. My opinion, allegedly. That's what I'm feeling. That is what I'm feeling. And feelings aren't slander. They're not. I'm convinced. Oh, okay. It's a club, and we ain't in it. Yeah. And yes, the cesspool that is our union in DC needs to be taken down. Yeah. They've always had, people are just more onto it in the post-COVID world. Yeah, and I think as history has played out and we're still alive, a lot of us are still alive to see it. Obviously me, there's older people still alive. to see it and go, wait a minute, this looks familiar. We've been here before. I've seen this before. Candace is going to come on in just a minute here. Let me get my screen on. Oh, I got to share my screen first. Bye, Candace. Scare tactic. Yeah. I got a theory. Once a person gets really rich or really famous, they get a visit from the men in suits and sunglasses. Yeah. Well, you know, Candace had said that, and I've heard other people say it on seen people say it on social media, where you can only go so far, you know, without being compromised, because at a certain point, then they get to you and get you. I don't think they get to everybody. I think people can stay out of it, and I think some people do. Unfortunately, they just start believing themselves, and that's their God, and that's their authority. So anyways, it breaks down. It breaks down when that's all you're listening to. And then the people around you who are your hype men saying all the same things. So yeah. Anyway, we didn't get to the stuff I was going to share. They're just some quick videos, but we'll get to them tomorrow. And yes, something happens to them. And because then, well, this goes back, I feel like, to what I was saying is, you know, you always want more. So after you have the money, you go on the trips, you get the jet, you have all the houses, you have all the clothes, you eat all the food. What is there left but more? And so you have to go to this really weird, gross, disgusting place. So anyways, the men in black, who are described as weird looking, almost inhuman, were just Jays all along. Okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you tomorrow. Friday's up in the air. I haven't, what time did we set up for Friday? So I have an interview on, she got back to me. Let's see. What are we doing? What is that? Okay. Yeah. So, yep, I won't do Friday because the interview is at 3:30, and then I'll get to tell you more about that after, you know, hopefully next week if we get that going. But it's a pre-interview before the interview. So it's exciting. It's interesting. You guys will want to be here for that. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share where you can, where you feel comfortable. And I will see you later and see you soon. Bye-bye.
This is a better life. From scars to stars, from pain to bulletproof. Teresa, better life. A better life with you. Talking news, pop culture life, love and scandal, heart to heart. Teresa, better life. Real is where the reset starts. No playing small. We rise, we fall. We laugh, we do it all. A better life is one brave call. Teresa, better life. Let's build